Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. We're gonna do a collective reading because the energy is very harsh. Now, I want to remind everybody that we are in the age of Aquarius, so with that comes a lot of veiled truth, right? The evil is being exposed on many fronts, and I think it can be really overwhelming, especially for people who deny their own shadows, which over here we don't. But I had some crazy weird dreams about like past like traps and betrayals, and so I feel like that could be, it feels like the entire collective could be faced with some of that energy. So we're gonna use the yin yang and look into it quick. I don't know how long I have until the tiny wakes up. So let's hope we can get like 10 minutes or so just to give you guys some relief or insight. There's too many. Yeah, we have feminine energy and fate and divine detours, or divine intervention and detours. So the feminine energy is the darkness, right? And the feminine energy is currently rising, and with that rising comes the, think of the lotus. The lotus flower has to rise through mud in order to bloom. And so, or any plant has to go through the darkness in order to reach the light, right? It's just part of the growth process. So that feminine energy, right? Even like babies in the womb, there's a darkness first and foremost before there's any light. So we are all facing our own internal darknesses, as well as at a collective level. And with these truths as they are coming to light, right, we are being, we've got divine time on the bottom of the deck. We are being, this is shadow side, dark night of the soul, and the moon. So I think it's a new moon right now. I haven't been following the moon cycle for some reason. I just haven't really felt called to. But I think there is a new moon in Aries this week. Yeah, it was yesterday. There was a new moon yesterday, so that means complete darkness, right? So Aries energy is a fire energy. Aries is the baby of the zodiac as well. So I don't know, it's ruled by Mars, right? So Mars is the planet of masculinity. So fiery, unhealthy. I mean, I'm not saying like Mars is unhealthy, but what we're experiencing as a collective is definitely this fiery, unhealthy masculine energy. And it's being used as a weapon toward the feminine, and even within the self, right? So men who are preying on women are doing so because there's some sort of aspect of self that they are running away from, and that they're scapegoating onto women, right? Things like that. So if you haven't checked out the Mansplain project I'm doing on YouTube, check it out, especially if you are a dude. I'm not inviting you to mansplain to me, by the way. It's mansplain for your own good, so leave me the fuck out of it. I'm just posing the questions. We have alchemy and ancestor guides. I would really pay attention to dreams, to signs and synchronicities, to unusual things happening in your energy. This dream that I had last night felt like an astral travel, but it felt like one last ditch effort to get me to trust people who have already betrayed me. And then within that dream, after I kind of let my guard down, they attacked again, right? So I woke up and I'm like, I choose to wake up because I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I feel like there's this, like, with these truths being exposed, it causes people to like scurry. Like cartoon characters scurry. Like, what can we do really quick, But we have the ancestor guides and divine intervention. So yeah. Oh wow. Okay. So yeah. So toxicity bound in patterns, and then we have be receiving to open, or being open to receive. So I would say that open and receiving is obviously not be open to receiving more toxicity. It's open to receiving solutions. Heads up, right? I don't know. As me personally, I'm a psychic. I don't know why people keep fucking with me. Like I see it way before it happens, and I used to always see it, but I didn't know how to navigate it, and now I do. So I don't know. I'm unfuckwithable at this point to a certain degree. And once you do enough of your shadow work, right? Because this toxicity bound in patterns also speaks to the ways that you are oppressing yourself, which I just spoke to about men. Like there's something about men feeling like they need to take things out on other women, make women pay. There's just this deep nastiness. I believe a lot of that has to do with circumcision, quite frankly, because I can't imagine getting any piece of me cut off, especially the most sensitive part of my body, 2 seconds after I came out to the world. I believe that the system has used circumcision as a way to produce monsters, quite frankly. And I will die on that hill. It's something that I think about a lot, awkwardly. Not really like the penis itself, but like I think about what that does, what it does to the children psychologically, the boys. I think it's a horrible barbaric practice, and there's no need for it. And it causes this necessity to chase something that you're never gonna get back. And like, yeah, I would have a lot of hate for people if that happened to me, and I would probably have to take it out on others because I was too young to stand up for myself. You know what I mean? So, but I think the system does that on purpose, because look at what it's doing. Rape is used as a form of warfare everywhere, right? Women, there's femicide happening at a global scale. And we need to embrace the feminine within us, which again is our own darkness, because in that dark, we're able to, it's like think of the womb, right? Or the soil. The darkness is where the growth happens. So don't deny that. You know, light is just a tool to make the growth. Like you shed light on something, right? Like the plants. Oh, I'm out of breath. The plants, the photosynthesis, they raise because they feel the sunlight, right? So that's light being shed on it, and that's what causes the growth to happen. So in order for us to continue growing ourselves, I keep seeing the Healing Inner Child card. It hasn't come out yet, but I keep noticing it. Yeah, we have control tactics. And we also have the water energy. So work with water while we still have access to it. I don't want to live on this planet without water. No. We have winter and rebirth. So again, in the dead of, when things are dead, assistance, spirit guides. Wow, there's a lot of external help, and I can feel that. Like, you know, a lot of people who aren't really connected to their spirituality, release, surrender, and purge. Release what's no longer serving you. Allow yourself to go through this process of rebirth, which, you know, noticing your own toxicity, noticing the toxicity and control tactics being used on you. For instance, circumcision. Not that you can do anything about that at this point. It's not like you can, I mean, you probably could get surgery, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the physical implications. I'm talking about the, you know, it's psychological warfare to do something so painful and traumatic to a being, to a helpless being, right? One of the reasons I kept my son and I at home for birth, we free birthed We do not involve the medical system in our lives unless we absolutely have to. That's my personal choice because of my education and own experiences. And yeah, it's different than others, but it works for us. So again, charging your own path, creating your own path. But there is this, I think recognizing the control tactics as a collective is something that we're starting to, that's some of the truth that's being veiled. And I think, especially here as a U.S. citizen or as an American, that was weird, a U.S. citizen, I don't know why I said that. As someone in the belly of the beast in America, at this point in time, the scope of our experience is being globalized. So especially with these like Lego videos from Iran, it's becoming abundantly clear that this country is really embarrassing, right? And so that in itself is this like, it's like a Stockholm syndrome that the American public are having to come to terms with. Trump is serving as, of course, he's a terrible person, and there's way worse people behind him that we don't know about. But he's serving as it's like the Wizard of Oz. He's like removing the smoke screen, like, and who said it? There was someone who said that Trump was the Oz prince or Michael. Who was that? Maybe it was Robin Williams. It was someone dead. I think it was Robin Williams. Trump is Wizard of Oz. Yes, Robin Williams did make that comparison during a stand-up routine, which has resurfaced periodically in recent years. Yeah, he said, like, Trump is the guy behind the curtain. But now he's the one at the forefront, so there's people behind him pulling the strings, So just beware, be careful. If you're receiving dreams or you're being triggered by memories that you don't want anymore, those are tools, right? Those are tools to examine your like spirituality and your well-being at a non-physical level, emotional, mental, psychological, spiritual, right? Physical as well. Because a lot of the times, I mean, everything is energy, so a lot of the times if you're experiencing any sort of physical ailments, it's because of a deeply rooted mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical issue, right? So you can work through that. If you need someone to work with, I work with people. You can book a session on my Etsy or my Mayhem Marketplace, or you can email me or whatever. But that's the kind of work I do with folks one-on-one. So we have to start with a consult, and then after the consult, we can schedule a session. But you can find those links in my Etsy shop, which are linked in my community board under the links. So anyway, the collective, I feel like we're all just being challenged. So keep yourself grounded at this time. Let's go through some emotions quick that may be coming up that may trigger, not shadow necessarily, but some of the things that may be trying to shed light. So like last night when I was in this dream, it was like, oh, okay, everything's cool and like flirty and fun, and then it was like a flip switched. So there may be, like in my dream too, there was like one person who like was like a head of a group, and they were the one that like made initial contact and like, everything's cool. And then later on, they were nowhere to be found, and there were like minions or flying monkeys who came at me and took over. So there may be some sort of situation. Cats screaming could be significant. That was pretty. Can you hear that? It's okay, Lola. It's okay, Lola. They're outside. I think it's mating season. I think it's just like a mating call. I don't know. But change coming out. change, at peace, hope, and joy. So yeah, someone may be trying to come in and change your peace, hope, and joy that you've, you know, found for yourself. Or if you haven't quite been, like, gotten there, maybe, or maybe you've just been stuck in toxicity, and this is a, you know, this moment is when you're finally like, no, I'm not doing this anymore, and you're choosing, you know, peace. I have found peace in my life, and I am guarding it harder than, you know, fucking Alamo. Like, nobody's going to disturb my peace. And if they do for a moment, I don't let it continue. Renewal, which kind of echoes this rebirth. What can you do to give yourself this renewal, rebirth? Water is here. We have unknowing and fear. Ooh. And then we have love, happiness, bottled up, wishes fulfilled, and gloom. So don't allow your gloom to be bottled up, or your fear. Don't allow fear to rule you. Turn your fear into courage, right? And do that consciously. Anytime you feel fear about something, including having interactions with men, because now we know this information. Don't allow men to fear. When you are fearing a man, remember that you, as a woman, if you are a woman, if you're a man, just same. I mean, you're also at the, what's that word? I don't know the word. Mercy. You're at the mercy of men's emotional inability to regulate as well. But if you are fearing men, remember that it takes a lot of cowardice to become someone who's violent, and don't fear that. Rise above it, and then, like, trip it up, right? I don't let men have any control in my life. They try a lot, but I can see through that really easily. And again, if you need support with that, go check out my channel. I'm working on a lot of things. I talk about, I've done a couple of readings for men and divine masculine beings. Divine masculine. The men are sick, quite frankly. There's an epidemic of sick men on our planet. And, you know, I commented on TikTok today because they were talking about these 6 boys who, like, attacked this girl because she told them to stop groping them. Like, kids, right? Not like little kids, but like high school kids. I mean, they were on the bus, so probably middle school, high school, still kids. And I commented, that's the Trump effect, right? I mean, when you have a leader like this, and that's all these kids have known, it gives them, you know, the green light. And it's not just the kids, but, you know, it is the Trump effect, right? That's what we're living through right now with all of these exposure. These men feel really safe with him in charge. But again, pulling that scope back and having, like, Iran making these videos about Trump being a loser, I mean, that's helping. That's helping wake men up to be like, why am I, you know, yeah. So, I hope this helps. This is pretty, I'm getting, like, an image of, like, tar, or, like, not quicksand, but, like, tar. This is, like, sticky energy that we're navigating, at a collective level. But if you're a man, call other men out, and also check yourself. And again, feel free to leave me out of it. I'm just posing the questions. I do not care about your process, quite frankly. I just hope that you have a process. I'm at that point. But yeah, we have a lot more healing to do. We have a lot of fighting ahead of us. I've seen a lot of women talking about how we're gonna have to start killing men, and women who are coming on and being like, what are we gonna do? And you arm yourself, you practice self-defense, you assert yourself, you assert your power and dominance, and let men know that you are not to be fucked with. You make yourself unavailable to their shenanigans, evil or ridiculous, right? You decenter from men. You heal yourself. You step into your feminine. You remember that men only exist because they came through a womb and a vagina. You remember that the power that they are so desperately trying to hang on to is because they feel powerless. It's very simple. It's a psychological switch. And yeah, stop getting your boys circumcised, for the love of God. There's no need for that. Okay, bye. Have a good one.